Hello students, good morning. In the 12th standard chemistry, lesson 1, we are going to see now. So this is the first video we are going to see from the 12th standard. Let us pray God for the betterment of our teaching learning process, and then we can start the teaching. Okay, so lesson 1. The topic or the heading of lesson 1 is metallurgy. So what is the topic? Metallurgy. Dear students, first we must aware what is called as metallurgy and what are the things we are going to discuss under this heading metallurgy. Okay, is it clear? So we need to know the purpose of learning metallurgy. So metallurgy relates to the science and technology of metals. Dear students, in our day-to-day life, many metals we have been using. For example, to hang a photo, we need an iron nail, isn't it? Yes. So iron is a metal. Likewise, the grills and the gates. So in many of the places we have been using the metals. And some more metals. For example, copper. Copper is widely used in electric cables. Then aluminium is mainly used for making the cooking utensils. And gold, silver. So metals play a vital or major role in our day-to-day life. But if we look at their sources, for example, from where do we get this iron? We are getting it from the earth crust. It is naturally available. But naturally, we are not getting the nail. Only we are getting the source of iron. From the source of iron, the iron is extracted, it is refined, and then it is brought into our daily usage. So these processes collectively called as metallurgy. So it's given here, metallurgy relates to the science and technology of metals. So science and technology includes the extraction of metal ore, then it is refining and so on. So those processes are commonly called as metallurgy. And generally, there are two types of elements we can say. Those are native elements and the elements in the combined state. So native elements in the sense they will exist as it is. For example, copper. Copper we can get directly from the earth crust as copper. Also gold. We can get the raw gold from the earth crust. Whereas certain other elements, they will exist in their combined state. For example, alkali metals. The alkali metals are generally highly reactive. So they can interact with oxygen or sulfur present in the atmosphere. And they'll exist either as oxides or sulfates of that metals. Okay, so these are the two kinds of metals we need to know: native elements and the elements in the combined state. Okay, so now we are going to see the definition of metallurgy. So it's given here. Metallurgy explains the steps involved in the extraction of metals. From earth crust we are getting the impure form of the metal. So by undergoing various processes, the impure form of the metal will be converted into the pure form of the metal. So that steps are collectively called as metallurgy. It's given here. Metallurgy explains the steps involved in the extraction of metals. Is it clear? Okay. So this is the introduction about metallurgy. Okay students, so in this unit, metallurgy unit, these are the two terms we have to be very familiar. Those are minerals and ores. These are the very important part. So first we must know what is called as mineral and what is called as ore. Okay, dear students, both the mineral and ore, both are naturally available, naturally occurring. We are not getting them from anywhere else. Only we are getting them from the earth crust. So both are naturally available. Only a slight difference is observed between the mineral and the ore. So in this slide, we are going to differentiate the minerals from ores. Okay. So look at the first point, mineral. It is a naturally occurring substance obtained by mining. So mining means சுரங்கங்களிலிருந்து கிடைக்கக்கூடிய பொருள். Okay, so a naturally occurring substance obtained by mining which contains the metal in free state or in the combined state. Free state is nothing but the element will be as it is. In the first slide I told you about native elements, no? Gold and copper. Gold and copper will be existing as free state, whereas certain other elements will be existing in combined state. For example, the sodium can exist as sodium oxide, aluminum can exist as aluminum oxide. So those are called as combined state. Okay, Mama? Okay, so this is the definition for mineral. What is mineral? It is a naturally occurring substance obtained by mining. So this mineral contains the metal in the free state. The metal means whatever metal you need. For example, we may extract copper, we may extract gold, we may extract aluminium. Likewise, many metals we have. So this mineral contains this metal we need to extract, and the metal can be either in free state or in the combined state. Free state means freely, as in the elemental form. Okay, combined state means the metal can exist as metal oxide or metal sulfide. So this is about mineral. Now we can see about ore. So ore is also a naturally occurring one, but this difference we can see now. Minerals that contains a high percentage of metal. So that is also, ore is also a mineral, but this ore contains the metal in a high percentage. This is very, very important point. Okay, so ores are also minerals, and these minerals contain high percentage of metal from which the metal can be extracted conveniently and economically are called as ores. So ores are not a new substances. It is also a mineral, but the mineral containing higher percentage of metal, such minerals are called as ores. Is it clear, students? Okay, now look at the second point. The second point is almost similar with the first one. All the minerals are not ores. Okay, all the minerals are not ores, but all the ores are minerals. This is the second difference between mineral and ore. Okay, now look at the third point. Here, this mineral, it may or may not contain the metal in a high percentage. Because certain minerals will have higher percentage of metals, whereas certain other metals will have low percentage of the metals. But ore in the sense, the essential quality is it should possess the higher percentage of the metal. So that is given in the third point. Ore contains the metal in high percentage. Is it clear, ma? Okay, so third difference is the mineral may or may not contain the metal in high percentage, whereas the ore contains the metal in high percentage. So third point is completed. Now look at the point number 4. Point number 4 is written by taking the example of aluminium. Okay, ma? Okay, ma. Aluminium has many minerals. Here it's given China clay and bauxite. So China clay also will contain aluminium. Bauxite also will contain aluminium. So these two can be considered as the mineral of aluminium. But out of these two, out of China clay and bauxite, only bauxite contains the metal in a higher percentage. So bauxite is the ore of aluminium. Is it clear, ma? Every metal may have a number of minerals, but out of those minerals, only the mineral which contains the higher percentage of metal will be called as ore. So even though aluminium possesses two minerals, China clay and bauxite, from bauxite only aluminium can be extracted in a higher amount. So bauxite will be considered as the ore of aluminium. Is it clear? So these are the differences between mineral and ore. It is a very, very important 3-mark question. What is mineral? It is a naturally occurring substance obtained by mining which contains the metal either in free state or in the combined state, whereas ore is a mineral that contains a high percentage of metal from which the metal can be extracted conveniently and economically. So such kind of minerals are called as ores. Then point number 2 is all the minerals are not ores, whereas all the ores are minerals. Then point number 3, minerals may or may not contain the metal in a higher percentage, but ores surely should contain the metal in a high percentage. Okay. Now fourth point is example. By taking aluminium, we have given the example. Aluminium has two minerals, china clay and bauxite. Out of these two minerals, bauxite has the aluminium in a higher percentage. So bauxite is considered as the ore of aluminium. Okay. Okay, ma'am. Now we can see the next important concept, metallurgical processes, which means the steps involved in the extraction of metals from their sources, from their ores. Okay, so mainly there are three steps involved in the metallurgical processes. Let us see what are they. The first step is concentration of the ore. Okay, concentration is nothing but, look at the source of metals, students. We are getting them from the earth crust. So surely the ores will contain the impurities. Okay, so what is the first step have to be done? The removal of impurities from the ore. So that removal of impurities from the ore is called as concentration. So what is step 1 in metallurgy? Removal of impurities, and the removal of impurities given a scientific name, concentration of the ore. Okay, then step number 2, extraction of the crude metal. Now, the ore contains the metal in the combined state. For example, if you extract aluminium, it will be in the form of aluminium oxide. So that the aluminium oxide first should be converted into aluminium. If you extract iron, it will be in the form of iron oxide, Fe2O3. So that Fe2O3 has to be converted into Fe. So that step 2 is called as extraction of crude metal. This crude metal will also contain impurities. So in step 3, the impurities associated with the crude metal has to be removed. That is given the name refining of crude metal. Okay, Mama. So these are the three steps will be followed in the metallurgical processes. What are they? Concentration of the ore, extraction of crude metal, and refining of crude metal. It is also a very important 2-mark question. The question will be, list the steps involved in metallurgical processes. What are they? Concentration of the ore. What is concentration? Removal of impurities. Then second one, extraction of crude metal. It is nothing but the conversion of the metal oxide into the metal. Then step number 3 is refining of crude metal. Refining means purification. The obtained crude metal will contain some impurities. So the removal of the impurities from this crude metal is called as refining. So these are the 3 steps followed in metallurgical process. Okay, ma'am. Let us see the first step involved in the metallurgical process. What is the first step we have seen? Concentration of the ore. What do you understand by the term concentration? The removal of impurities. So here I have given the removal process of gangue from ore. Okay, so this word gangue is new to you. It's nothing but, I told you the impurities, no? So the impurities are given the scientific name gangue. What is gangue? I have given here the definition. If they ask what is gangue, this is the answer. What is it? Non-metallic impurities, the rocky materials, because we are getting the metal from the earth crust. So what will be associated? It is associated with rocky materials. So that one. Then siliceous matter. So these 3 are collectively called as gangue. What is gangue? The non-metallic impurities, the rocky materials, siliceous matter associated with ore are called as gangue. Okay, so here we have studied 2 2-mark questions. The first one is what is called as concentration of the ore. Second one is what is gangue. What is concentration of the ore? The removal process of gangue from ore is called as concentration. What is gangue? The non-metallic impurities, the rocky materials, the siliceous matter associated with ore are called as gangue. Is it clear? Yes. Okay. Now, there are so many concentration techniques available, but in your plus 2 curriculum, a few are given. So those headings we are going to see now. The first concentration method we will discuss is gravity separation. Okay, then second one is froth flotation, third one is leaching. In the leaching we have various types: acid leaching, alkali leaching, ammonia leaching, and cyanide leaching. Then fourth one is magnetic separation. So these are the four concentration techniques we will discuss in this lesson. What are they? Gravity separation, froth flotation, leaching, and magnetic separation. Okay va? Okay. Okay students, now we can revise whatever we have seen so far. First, introductory part of metallurgy. What is metallurgy? It relates to the science and technology of metals. There are two types of metals. One is called as native elements. The examples for native elements are copper and gold. Then elements in the combined state. Example, alkali metals. So what is metallurgy? It explains the steps involved in the extraction of metals. Okay, so this is the introductory part about metallurgy. Then second one is differences between minerals and ores. What is mineral? It is a naturally occurring substance obtained by mining which contains the element in the free state or in the combined state, whereas ore is also a mineral but it contains the metal in a higher percentage. Difference 2 is all the minerals are not ores but all the ores are minerals. Then third one is a mineral may or may not contain the metal in a higher percentage, but ore contains the metal in a higher percentage. Then point number 4, by taking the example of aluminium, we have seen for aluminium there are many minerals available. Those are China clay, bauxite. Out of these two, bauxite contains the aluminium in a higher percentage, so bauxite is the ore of aluminium. Is it clear? Okay, the differences we have seen. Then third one is metallurgical processes. There are 3 metallurgical processes given. What are they? Concentration of the ore, extraction of the crude metal, and refining of the crude metal. What is concentration? The removal of gangue from the ore is called as concentration. What is gangue? The non-metallic impurities, the rocky materials, the siliceous matter associated with ore are called as gangue. So these are the methods of concentration given in your syllabus. What are they? Gravity separation, froth flotation, leaching, and magnetic separation. Okay, Mama. About these each methods we will discuss in the coming videos. Thank you.